Popcorn, where we tell you what's happening at the movies. And I saw a movie called Baby Driver, which in the life that I live as a movie critic, I sometimes sit there and saying, oh, God, they're making the same damn movie over and over and over again. And this one is original. It's not a prequel. It's not a sequel. It's its own thing. And so it's a pleasure for me to welcome the star of Baby Driver, Baby himself, Ansel Elgort.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have, and it's really absurd to see you without earbuds.
I know. I had just had them on right before the end of it. They told me it would be disrespectful to wear them. Should we
Disrespectful, wow. Baby needed it because...
Baby needs it because he has tinnitus. So he has to listen to music all the time to drown out that ringing in his ears. Mm-hmm. And then the music he listens to is the soundtrack of the movie, which is so cool.
Which sounds cool, too, on the surface, except for real. Edgar Wright created this movie so that everything that happens in it is timed to the rhythm of this music.
Yes, it is. My friend saw it the other night and said, dude, I've never seen a movie like that. It's like a 2-hour music video. And it is. And it's not, like, overwhelming. Sometimes you don't even notice it. But, like, I've seen it 5 times now. And it wasn't until the 5th watch that I was like, let me see, is it always to music? And almost always every footstep, every camera cut is to music. And when it's not to music, it's deliberate and you can tell. And it's pretty great. You really do hear the movie through Baby's ears, and you see it through his eyes, too.
So you're hearing it through those earbuds.
Yes.
Exactly what you have to do. But what about your co-stars? And let's just talk about them for a minute.
Yes.
You know? You've got Kevin Spacey, Jamie Foxx, John Hamm, Lily James playing the love interest in it. Are they all, do they have like an earwig and they're hearing it too?
Exactly. They have earwigs in. We all had the choreographers on set. We were always synced to the music. And even if there wasn't choreography in the scene, like for the diner scenes between me and Lily James, it's like, I feel like, at least for me, I always have music in my head, whether or not I'm listening to any. And maybe Lily would too. But we're in a scene together, and if we both are hearing the same music, it's like we're in the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And it makes that chemistry that much easier, and developing that, oh wow, these two people really like each other. They're on the same wavelength, and we are. We're listening to the same tune.
I like the idea that you've always got music in your head.
Always.
Whether you really do or you don't.
I fall asleep to music, even if I'm not listening to it. If I like catch myself falling asleep, music is blasting in my head. It's playing really loud, and then I go, and then the music turns off. That's how I sleep every night, man. Music it's always in me. So that's probably why I was right for this role.
And that's why you're interested in composing your own music and being a DJ?
Yeah, and I'm singing now too.
You're singing too? Well,
Yeah.
we'll wait for that for the
cool.
end of this show. But the thing is, it's kind of as if this movie were built for you.
It's nuts. Also, in the movie, Baby makes beats. You learn early on he records the different conversations he has and takes little sound bites and makes beats as a hobby. And I read the script and I was like, this is crazy. That's what I do. Like, I love recording little things on my iPhone and putting them into songs.
But Baby's recording the conversations of gangsters.
Not the best idea.
Best idea. No, that's it. What a good idea to have them in the mix. That gets him in a lot of trouble.
Well, it's good drama, you know. I guess if I was talking with gangsters all the time, that's probably the kind of stuff you want to record. You know, it's serious business. It's fun to record it, and you listen back and you're like, damn, that was an epic conversation.
Yeah. Well, you must have said, did Edgar Wright come to you and say, I want you for this because I know there's music in your head? What was the reason that you got this part of it?
The first time we met, we talked about music the whole time. I had been in the studio working on my own music, and you know, he asked me what I was up to, and I said, I've been making music. And for 2 hours, we only talked about music, nothing about movies. And at the end of our meeting, he said, I have a script that might be right for you. I read the script. I was in love. I wanted to do it so badly, and I fought for the role for a while, and eventually Edgar gave me the part. But he didn't know that I was into music like that. At the time, I think, you know, even now, a lot of people don't know that, but that's all I talked about. I think he was pleasantly surprised.
Well, it had to be more than pleasantly surprised, because when you do it, you know, was there ever a moment that you just turned to him and said, this is just effing hard. I can't make this happen. I can't do every scene I'm doing to a beat.
Having the beat makes it easier. You know, like I come from musical theater. I did my first ever shows. I was in the Nutcracker at Lincoln Center when I was 9 years old as a party boy.
Okay. How many saw that? you know, everybody.
Everyone
Raise
saw
your hands
Nutcracker.
at home. Everybody
So
saw it.
I did that, and then I did musical theater, and I haven't done musicals since, you know, I was 17 years old. And now, all of a sudden, to have an opportunity to do a movie that is all around music, and we had choreography, and it felt like very natural to me. It reminded me of how I got started in all this, and I love doing scenes to choreography. It makes it easier.
Well, talk about that, because getting started in it, I mean, you kind of started slow. It was Carrie, right? It
Yes.
was just, you did that, and then we get...
Well, I mean, listen, it wasn't really starting slow because I was in high school. I had never done a film or television or anything. I was just doing musicals at my local, you know, at my high school, and going to summer camp and doing musicals. And then I got a play. That was my first professional job with Manhattan Theater Club. And then from there, I got an agent. And all of a sudden, my first movie I was ever in, I auditioned for Carrie. And I was opposite Chloe Moretz and Julianne Moore. And I was in a movie. And I was like, it doesn't get better than this. I can't believe it. I'm in a movie.
But what was going on in your head? What music were you listening to then?
Well,
was there any panic involved in this?
Well, I had done straight acting. The play I did was straight acting. But I did need my music. I rented a keyboard from a local music place. I've set it up in my tiny little, you know, shoebox apartment that they've rented for me. And I wrote a bunch of songs. I don't go on set, and this is since I was younger, I don't go on a set without having a keyboard and a computer so I can produce records and make my music.
It's like a second career, because anybody that's been on a movie set knows
You need something
that when
else.
they're switching the angle of it, you're an hour and a half waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, and talk about a driving movie. You got to switch the cameras around on a car and a rig, and you know this one we need a different car rig. That takes 2 hours sometimes, and then we're gonna go to lunch and then set up, and then we do a quick shot for 20 minutes and then another setup. So you have a lot of time, and I would go crazy if I didn't have music to make.
Some people can't, though. They can't. They use that time because they stay focused. They want to be that character. You can turn it off.
I think you can be inspired by your characters. There's sometimes where you get a little exhausted playing your guy, and you might not have that time of turnarounds. But also, if you're just shooting driving scenes, you know. So it's not like, you know, you can turn that on and off.
Yeah, you can.
Versus, you know, okay, I have a really emotional day where I have to witness somebody dying and this and that. So that might be a little harder. I'm gonna get in my space for an hour, and I'm gonna try to get my space. But otherwise, you know, it's cool.
But what about those stunts? How much could you do?
I like to think I could do everything, but they wouldn't let me do everything.
No, they're insuring your ass.
They're
they have to
insuring
be
my ass.
sure.
They have to be sure that I could not kill people, but they weren't sure of that. They let me do some by myself in the car, which I guess they weren't too worried about me. But
No, it was other people that you might harm.
yeah, but we did a lot of stunt training. We did a lot of stunt training, and yeah, in theory, I couldn't do the stunts, and which was important because even when I wasn't driving and they had a whole rig set up and the cameras, you know, someone else driving for me and I'm just twisting a wheel. It wasn't just twisting a wheel. It was, okay, I'm going to come into this corner, brake a little bit, pull the e-brake, soft input left, turn to the left, and counter steer right, and then gear back, and then, you know, bring the wheel straight.
Do that according to the rhythm of whether it's bell bottoms or whatever the first scene is.
Exactly.
That you're listening to that.
Exactly. But so that it looks real. You know, you don't want just like, that looks whack.
Well, none of it looks whack.
Thank you.
Everything looks exactly real. So when you couldn't do something, did it frustrate you when they said, no, you can't, we need to save you?
Yeah, I wanted to do every stunt possible. Every day I'd show up to set and be like, hey, can I do the stunt today? But the thing is, because they were doing the stunts for real, it was never fake. We never used green screen. I mean, every stunt you see is practical. Even like the spike strips coming down and the car drifting into the spike strips and hitting it from the side and knocking them into another car, that all happened. That was all real.
I think that's such a good point to make because all we really see, I mean, you're working on your music on your computer, but Hollywood works on their movies that way.
Yeah.
So a lot of that, it's so rare.
Yeah.
The last time I even remember seeing it was a John Frankenheimer movie called Ronin, where he actually shot those races so that they happened. And it makes all the difference in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It really does. And you can feel it as an audience member. And when you put us in a car, you know, that's actually doing the stunts, you can feel the bumps and you can see the bumps and you can see the fear in our eyes. And we're like, oh my God, I can't believe we're actually doing this. Versus a green screen, you never get that same vibe.
How, in working with these actors, Were they just riding you all the time, or were they just supportive? I mean, Jamie Foxx can be hilarious.
Jamie Foxx is the most generous guy ever. I have never worked with someone so generous. No offense to anyone else, but that guy is like the warmest guy around. Immediately when I met him, I wasn't sure. Yeah, it's like this guy, maybe his persona's nice, but who knows? Immediately, oh man, you're gonna kill this movie, man. Let me know I know you play basketball, so let me know if you want to come to my house. I got a full-size basketball court, and I hear you make music. I got a music studio. You gotta come through, play me your tunes. This was the first time I met him. Immediately the warmest guy. I was like, damn, it's like showing up to school, to kindergarten the first day, and like you're kind of nervous, like I don't know anyone, and that kid who comes up to you and says, we're gonna be friends, don't worry about it, that was Jamie Foxx.
Pretty cool that would happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So then his generosity was in marked contrast then to Spacey and Ham, who were just saying what? What are they doing?
No, Spacey also. I had done a film with Spacey right before this called Billionaire Boys Club, and we have become very close on that as well. I love Spacey, and I look to him as sort of like an acting mentor and business mentor. He's obviously someone who's been around for so long and had a successful career for so long. And John Hamm as well. I mean, we've gone to dinner together. He's the nicest guy. He's a little more subdued, but then when you least expect it, he will say the funniest thing you've ever heard. Right before a take starts, of course.
Of course.
And you start, and I'll just like literally cry with laughter.
Doing that on purpose, I'm sure.
Yeah, everyone loves messing with me because I'm also such an easy target. Like I am so easy to make laugh. So these guys were just messing with me. They knew they could pull my strings.
But see, you made the whole process of movie making sound great.
Edible?
It's real. I didn't say it was edible. No, but it definitely is real.
I'm really hungry.
Yes, you put it in your lap. It's yours. That's how we treat guests.
I'm starving.
We certainly don't pay them, so you got to get something out of it.
I got something out of it.
That's really important to do it.
Yeah.
But you get another important thing about it, except how it moves in it. There's a love story in it, and a love story that works.
Yeah, there's a heart and soul in this movie. Now I feel awkward holding this popcorn in my mouth. There's a real heart and soul in this movie. And while there's action and while there's madness, there's depth. And the scenes between me and Lily James are so beautiful, and they're real, and they're timeless. That's one thing Edgar did so well. The music in this film, it's all timeless classics. So like
non-stop.
They range from the 50s and the 40s until the 2000s, but they don't feel like, oh, remember that when people used to make music like that? It feels like, oh, that song, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that song will live on forever. And it's the same thing with those scenes. They feel like very classic love scenes that the dialogue could be taken from the 50s and it would make sense. If you notice, Baby and Deborah wear black and white, and everyone else in the cast wears colors.
There's a great laundromat scene in that, where there's primary colors in every single
thing.
It's
so cool.
Turning.
And that's their love coming to life. I think that's what it means.
It really works. So this is the first time you've worked with Lily.
The first time.
So did you have to do the chemistry reads, the famous chemistry reads that go on?
We didn't. Edgar just knew we'd be right for each other. And like I said, we put that music in our ears. And, I mean, you've seen Lily James. Mm-hmm. And her vibe is so sweet and beautiful. It's so easy to sort of just like be baby and look up at her sitting in this thing, and she's so nice. And it's just like, you are so beautiful. You know what I mean? It's just
I love in the movie how she basically is complaining that she's hardly ever name-checked with the name Deborah in a song, but that every song is written about baby. Every single one. You can't not find it anywhere.
You can't. It's so genius. I mean, every little setup that Edgar has makes sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, he definitely chose the name Baby because he knew he wanted to set that up. That one little moment where it pays off. Of course he wants to name Baby because he wants to feel like everyone is singing to him. It's so genius.
It is.
This film has so many little details. By the way, speaking of heart and soul in the movie, then there's all these scenes where Baby is with Joe, his foster father, who is this African-American deaf actor who we made even look older in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. And they speak in sign language. And it's like, you've never seen that. And when I read the script, I was like, I get to speak in sign language? I need this role. And their scenes are so heartfelt and beautiful as well. There's a lot of heart and soul in this film. I got popcorn on my bench.
And it happens on the show, no matter who comes on. Popcorn is on their pants or on their dresses. It just happens. But when you do a love story,
Yeah.
I think it's because of Fault in Our Stars. You know?
Yeah.
You have this following of people that weep when they see you. You know? I think
Sometimes-
maybe it's because when a character dies in a movie, that makes them even more romantic. You know?
It does.
You can't have that thing. It's gone now.
I love dying. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, I did not die at the end of Baby Driver. I'm so sorry to let you
Oh,
know.
good. There's hope for a sequel then. Yeah, here it goes.
You know what? The nice thing about this, and I've even talked to Edgar about it, because we love the film, we had so much fun making it, is there's no pressure to make a sequel. We would never want to put pressure on it, or he would. I'm saying we as if I'm really a part of this, but I'm just an actor. But, sometimes these days with movies, it's all business. And it's you make movie to make money, and you say, look, this movie did well. We need the sequel out in March of next year. And we don't have a script, but it's okay. We'll start filming. And the old director wants to drop off. Let's just hire someone else, and let's make this movie. And that's not a way to make a movie. Since when? Do you think that's how the first movie was made? Or do you think they were like, oh, that's a great idea, and we're so passionate about it? Of course. So movies.
But you're right. Movies in Hollywood are an agenda. You have to fit it in to what the books say.
Yeah.
You need to do as a movie right now.
Which is wrong.
Yeah.
It's totally wrong. And this movie, I really hope it does well, and I really hope it performs, and I really hope everyone watching goes and sees it, because I think this could change the landscape for movies. I think if this movie performs, studios won't be so hesitant to finance original stories. This isn't based off any book. It's literally an original script, which every movie used to be back in the day.
You're putting a lot of responsibility on that now. These people. Luckily, you have a big social media following.
I am.
You can speak to them, and they turn out on opening weekend. It's all good.
I never stop speaking to them. I just keep saying, please go see the movie. But also, I wouldn't beg you to see a movie if it was bad. It's like, this is a great film. Like, I'm excited to go watch it again in the theaters with my friend, maybe my friends, maybe this weekend, even though I've seen it 5 times already. I've never seen one of my films more than 3 times, and that was Fault in Our Stars, and that's the most time I've seen a film.
And I think there might be 1 or 2 more viewings of A Baby Driver.
100%.
Yeah, you
also,
could do it.
The 5th time I kept catching things. I got a tweet last night from somebody saying, just saw Baby Driver, left the theater, I love it so much, I realized I made a huge mistake, I'm going back to watch it again. Like, that's insane. That's when people really love a movie.
And it used to be the way, It used to be people would go back and see something that they really loved.
Yeah.
And that's kind of gone away. You wait for it to be streamed or whatever.
Yeah, but this movie works in movie theater.
It is.
With the music and with the sound and with the picture.
Well, they know now. They have to see it.
Yeah.
What keeps you, Ansel Elgort, grounded in this world? Who basically can say to you, as this success is happening to you, look, no.
Well,
please.
I mean, my family, my friends, and my girlfriend, and everyone, the people who I've been around since I was in high school and before. So I keep it real with my family and my friends. And I try to keep it real with myself and with my work and everything.
How does your girlfriend deal with the fact that you have this rampaging female fan base?
Well, they love her too, so they're very supportive. They love Violetta. She's a beautiful ballet dancer, and they're all like, they look up to her as well. So.
Did you meet in a romantic Baby Driver kind of way?
I saw her in the street, and I was like, oh my God, that girl is so hot.
And you just went up to her, and then she called the police?
I went up to her. Well, we were in the same school. We were in high school.
Oh, okay.
So we were, at the time I was 17 and she was like 15, and we started talking a little bit, and then she played hard to get for like a year and a half, and finally I was able to take her out on a date, and one thing led to another, and now we've been dating for years and years.
So you're a romantic at heart.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I love having a real relationship with somebody, not a sort of fake relationship. I like real relationships with friends and with lovers.
Look at that. That's something to pass along,
Yeah, my mom is the same way. She's always sort of said that, don't get into it unless you really like somebody.
Well, your parents are really successful in what they do as well. Your dad is like a major fashion photographer.
Yeah.
Your mom directed operas and
yes,
and
and she was a modern dancer in New York in the 80s. Here's the thing with my parents, and what they've always told me is, do what you love to do, and everything else will work itself out. If you work really, really hard and do what you love and be persistent, it'll work out. And that's a really nice thing to say to your kid, rather than, listen, I know you like this whole acting thing, but you need to go to college. I don't care, what you're going to be. You'll be something, and you'll make some money. But that's boring, There are jobs out there for you that make you happy with what you do in life, and I'm so lucky that I had the support from my parents.
But you succeeded at it.
Yeah, I did.
You are succeeding.
But it's hard to tell too, because I succeeded right away, and I was very lucky. But I also had that attitude of I'm going to succeed and I'm going to work really hard. But also my version of success when I was in high school and I wanted to become an actor, I wanted to be on Law and Order and I wanted to be in plays. You know what I mean? Like I thought maybe if I do a few television shows, I'll make some money and I can do a play and I get paid $850 a week and that'll be amazing. I'll be a working actor. If I can be an actor and not a waiter at the same time, that's enough. That was my attitude.
Well, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
And then, being a lead in huge movies, that's nuts. I never expected that.
But it doesn't seem to throw you, the fact that this responsibility is on you as the lead of a movie. You seem like your head's in the right place to do it.
You know what? From an outside perspective, being in movies and being in interviews and all that stuff is like big. But when you're here, you realize it's just real life, and you're just talking to a nice person, or you're on set, and you meet Jamie Foxx, and he's just like that guy in kindergarten who comes up to you and says, "You have a friend, don't worry." So it's just like everything is smaller than you think it is, and there are a lot of real great human beings who work in this industry, and if you navigate the right way, it can be really nice and not overwhelming.
Does anything scare you about it?
I'm trying not to be scared by it. I've had not really ups and downs. Everything's been going really well, but I think the last time I was in a movie that I was really proud of was 3 years ago, was Fault in Our Stars, and I told myself even then, Ansel, this might be the last great movie you ever do. And that's okay if it is, because you'll find other things in life you like your music, and maybe you'll be in part of some independent films that no one sees, but you'll enjoy yourself. And that's like the attitude I have. I'm not like, okay, I need to follow this up. I need to get another great movie under my belt. And then Baby Driver happened, and I'm super lucky. Now I have 2 films under my, and there's other films I've done that I'm proud of, but 2 films under my belt that I'm like, these will last. And people, when they say, what did Ansel Elgort play in, they'll remember these movies. So I'm lucky, and I hope to just keep making great movies like this. And if it's a little bit of luck, I got to hope I keep
It is luck,
getting these
but at the same
opportunities.
time, it's also, everything that you do can't be a Baby Driver or a Fault in Our Stars. And what you've got to do is handle it when it isn't.
And also, you got to have fun. You got to enjoy the experience. Because I've been in some movies that didn't turn out that great, but as long as I enjoy the experience, it's okay. And as long as I learn something, or I really liked that director actually, and I had fun, and I think back to that, and I enjoyed my life, and I got to go to some random city I've never been and live there for a few months and make a movie.
This was Atlanta for Baby Driver.
This was Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day,
World's best barbecue.
there is some great barbecue there. Fat Matt's Rib Shack is really good.
Let's all go right after
Yeah.
this to do this. Who do you admire in this business that you're in?
Kristen Bale, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy. I love leading men who are really character actors at heart. And like Johnny Depp as well. It's like people who, they're not okay with just being a leading man. They want to be characters. I can't wait to be out there characters. And hopefully, eventually someone lets me do that and they gives me the shot to be
Who
out
also
there character.
has that heart that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because have you ever cried at a movie?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
That's a strange thing to do, like at a comedy. But, if that's what you're going to do, fine. Ansel, it's yours, whatever.
Well, I love watching dramatic movies, and sometimes they make me cry. What's the last movie I cried at? I don't know exactly. Sometimes I tear up during Baby Driver. There's some touching moments.
Oh, there's more than a couple of them
Yeah.
doing that. So what's up for you next?
Well, I'm really working on my music, and I'm part of a few projects that I'm excited about. There's one called Mayday 109. It's about John F. Kennedy, and I am playing John, young John. So that will be really
This
cool.
is the PT 109?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But that's another example of a character that I'd love to play, and it would be a challenge and everything. But we're still working on the script, and we're waiting for a really great director. I want to make really great movies, and I never want to settle for a movie that isn't great. I feel like otherwise, who cares?
You feel the same way about the music because it's so fluid there. As a DJ,
Yeah.
You
Well,
are on Solo. What made you say that? Were you just like a Star Wars freak?
No, it wasn't even from Star Wars. My brother used to call me Han Solo.
Really?
And I just thought it would be a funny name. And I did it in high school. I made the name, and I started making records. But I've sort of stopped performing as Han Solo, and now I'm going to perform as Ansel Elgort. And I've done some leftover Han Solo shows. I just played a college show at Baylor University in Texas. And instead of playing as Han Solo, I played as Han Solo, but then I went in front of the DJ booth and I sang a bunch of my songs. And the reaction from the crowd was very positive. I played a show at Pace University here in New York, and I had a keyboard. And I played keyboard and sang some songs as well. And I really felt a great reaction from the crowd, and it was...
you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love performing, man. I am really a performer. That, like I said, that's how I got into this whole thing. And while I love working on set, I love being on stage even more.
Does anything make you angry about the industry that you're in? Both of them?
You know what? Right this week, I can't be angry about anything because I'm so happy because this movie's so great.
It'll come later.
You know what I mean? I'm like riding on a high, and I'm so excited that I'm part of something great. Whether or not people see it, whether or not it does well at the box office, I can't help that. I'm just so happy the movie's good, and I'm proud of it.
I'm happy too.
Thank you.
It's nice for there to be a good one out there for people to see.
Are there some frustrating things about the industry? Of course.
Yeah.
Like we talked about. Like I don't think making art should be business, but it is. Mm-hmm. And you have to remember that, and you have to sort of navigate the business.
It's called
side
show
of it.
business. One of those words is all about that. Otherwise people don't come. No, there's no popcorn to eat. There's nothing.
Exactly. That is true.
But this is the first time you've been on this show, so you do not know that we end in song.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, even while eating popcorn.
Okay, what's the song?
So there could be some. You were talking before about you having this song.
About our music?
You could play. We have a guitar if you want one.
I don't play guitar.
Oh, what
I
a
play
shame!
piano.
Would have been great though if you just hit me on the head with it or something. I don't play guitar. How dare you make me do this?
I should learn guitar.
What do you play?
I play piano.
Well, bring in the grand piano.
Roll it in.
We need this now. I need it now. No. The reason I ask people to sing a little bit of something is because I think music, and I think it's the reason that you feel that way about it.
Yeah.
You can't be, when you're doing it, whether you have a good voice or you don't, dishonest.
You're right.
It's very hard to fake it when it's song.
I think actually it's hard to be honest when you're singing because singing is a little nerve-wracking. Like you say singing, and my heart, I've been so relaxed all interview, my heart goes a little bit.
And now it's going.
Even though I'm a confident singer. And as an artist, you need to be very honest and relaxed. So I'll sing something. I'll sing a song that you probably know, that I love a lot.
Okay.
They call you Lady Luck, but there is room for doubt. At times you have a very unladylike way of running out. Your honest date with me, the pickings have been lush. And yet before this evening is over, you might give me the brush. You might forget your manners, you might refuse to stay. And so the best that I can do is pray. Luck, be a lady tonight. Luck, be a lady tonight. Luck, if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck, be a lady tonight.
Ansel Elgort does Sky Masterson in Guys and Dolls. Wow, did you do that in high school?
I did.
Look at that. I knew it. It had that feeling.
I just decided I wanted to do
You created that. Forget Marlon Brando doing the movie.
They call you Lady Luck, but there is room for doubt. At times you have a very unladylike way of running out.
If he only were alive.
Did you ever interview him?
I have, yes.
Wow, I want to hear about that.
Yes, well, we'll hear. That's another show.
Okay.
But right now, I'm thanking you for doing this show.
Thank you so
That
much.
was great. Nobody ever sang that song before. Either as Brando.
They call you Lady Luck. Luck, be a lady tonight.
I love how he sings it too.
I don't think Baby was ever listening to that, but still. Yeah. Thank you, Ansel.
Thank you so
much. That was great.